Good morning, good morning, and good morning. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Read Me Live. I am your host, Sharifa Hardy, and we are back with yet another incredible show with Mr. Frank Ring, and we're going to talk about walking for health and inspiration. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Good, Sharifa. Good morning. I am well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Now, let's talk about health and inspiration. And I was excited to speak with you because I started on this health journey in June with
Okay.
going to the gym, walking on the treadmill. I'm down about 20 pounds. And so it's even just before, it's 7 a.m. here, but I've already been to the gym. I had to go do walk or get some type of exercise in order to even I don't even feel the same anymore unless I have that exercise.
Mhm.
What started this journey for you?
For me, it was back pain.
Oh wow.
And specifically, it's 2016, actually, the fall of 2015. I was a runner. And that's what I did to keep in shape. I did some road races. Um, Anytime I try to run a marathon or get trained for a marathon, increase the mileage, I got hurt. My body broke down. Knee pain, back pain, leg pain. And in the fall of 2015, the pain in my back started to increase, and it was traveling down my leg.
Mhm.
So I did what anyone would do in that case. I went to the professionals. I went to physical therapy.
Mhm.
And for 3 months, I did their routine three times a week religiously. And
Mhm.
I would tell them, it's feeling okay, but it could feel better. I'm still in pain. No, 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 it's going to be okay. It'll work out. It'll work out. Um, at one point, 3 months into it, I got home from treatment and I literally was on the floor the whole weekend. I was in that much pain. So I went to an orthopedic doctor and he looked at me literally 5 seconds. He adjusted my shoulders. He said, "How does this feel?" And he triggered the pain. He said, "You have a disc problem."
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, I've been in physical therapy for 3 months. They never mentioned disc problem." He said, "You'll get it. Did they give you an MRI?" I said, "No, they gave me every test but an MRI." I got the MRI and he was oohing and ahhing about how severe it was. And he said, "You have to stop everything, go to pain management." And I had three epidurals to
Mhm.
deal with the pain. The first one did nothing. 3 weeks later, the second one dulled the pain. And 3 weeks after that, the third one was really strange. I was on a long trip. I had the treatment on a Friday, Saturday, long trip from I live in New Jersey up to Maine. And I got out of the car to gas it up about 4 hours into the trip, and I was looking around like something's wrong here. Like the birds were chirping, the sky was blue, and I was out of pain for the first time in 7 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So what had happened? What the orthopedic doctor had told me at the time is you have to stop everything. Your disc is so inflamed, the area around it, that that's what's causing you all this problem. So the epidurals helped. I did nothing, and when I say nothing, I mean like nothing. And what had happened by doing nothing is one, I just wasn't feeling as good.
Mhm.
And two, my back was more susceptible to other injuries. So I was in school one day. I was a cross country coach, but
Mhm.
I did the stupidest thing. I just bent over wrong. And all of a sudden, my back had seized up so badly, I had to leave school in a hospital, in an ambulance, go to the
Oh wow.
hospital. So I'm laying in the hospital. I literally could not move my legs.
Mhm.
And I said, this is never going to happen to me again. Because I was so afraid of doing anything to for fear of getting hurt that I hurt it worse.
Oh wow.
So after I got out of the hospital, I had a game plan. I'll start walking slowly
Mhm.
every day. And then once I reach my goal, which was the top of this hill, it's a mile from my house, I'll start running again. Well,
Okay.
I started walking and I just fell in love with it because of how I felt physically,
Mhm.
finally moving once again. And walking compared to running gave me such a better mindset. Running is so much huffing and puffing. I ran for years. Running hurt. That's I was hurt all the time. When I did it, I would be in my runs and be like, why does this feel like the first time I ever ran? It just but I did it because that's what you do. I was hurt because, well, that's what you do when you run, you get hurt. Once I started walking, though, I never got hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
My mindset was clearer. I was able to listen to podcasts. I was able to listen to audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to listen to my own thoughts, which when you're running and huffing and puffing, you know, there's no room for that. It's just let's get for me, it was just get the workout done. Now
Right.
I'm walking, so that mile turned into 2, turned into 3, 4 mile walks. 5 mile walks was like my sweet spot. Um, I had finally, at one point, after I was training a while back in shape, I actually did a 30-mile walk,
Wow.
just to prove to myself that I could do it. And
Wow.
it was awesome. So that got me into walking. The fear of back pain
Mm-hmm.
got me into walking. Once I started doing it, I said, I'm never going back to anything else. I was in my mid 50s at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when I was laying on the floor that weekend, I'm like, is this what my life is going to be? Just pain.
Right.
So for anyone out there, walking is like a cure-all. And in your own case, as you talked about in the introduction, you started walking and you lost weight. It became
Yeah.
part of your routine. It became a part that you look forward to. When I was a runner, I got to tell you, never looked forward to the run. I did it to do it, to stay, you know, to stay fit, to keep my weight down. The walking, I mean, I've mapped out walks. Like I actually look forward to it. And um, so that was the great thing about walking for what it did for me at that
Mm-hmm.
point in my life.
Yes, I can completely understand. Thank you for sharing how your journey. For me, it helps to clear my mind. And in high school, I was a cross country runner, so I definitely
Mhm.
understand the difference between running and walking. And when I got on this weight loss journey, one of the things that I was told is you don't have to get and do all that running and all that hard stuff. You know, just walk, just get on the treadmill, do some weights, and I listened to that. Change your diet, and so for me, it's about mind, body, and spirit, getting everything in alignment. So walking to me has been very helpful. Now, I also, one of the things I always joke about is I spy with my little eye. There's something in the background. So
Yeah.
is that your book? Do you have a book out?
That is, well, let's see, in the background. This is my first book. So
Okay.
here's where the walking journey took me. So that was 2015. I was hurt in 2016. That's when the walking really kicked in. And I was out on a walk one day
Okay.
and I said to myself, like, how can I do something with this
Mhm.
financially? I'm a high school teacher. I
Okay.
love teaching. Unfortunately, you know, the financial part of teaching is a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
So I said, well, maybe I could do something with this walking thing. So I had put together almost like a bunch of PowerPoint presentations about different aspects of walking and what I discovered in that
Okay.
journey. The idea was for me to take those PowerPoints, record them, and then sell them, put them
Okay.
online. And I recorded the first, I'll call a chapter of it. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, the information's good, but I want to encourage people to walk. I don't want people sitting in front of a computer screen,
Right.
right? And
Right.
I'm like, this is not good. So my idea of selling this program like faded. But and marketers that I listened to and how to do this stuff, they all talked about, oh, you need to write a book in order to be, you know, give yourself some credibility.
Right.
So at that time, I work in my technology lab,
Okay.
and you know, writing. I mean, other than tutorials, I never really wrote anything.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, this would be a challenge, right? It was a challenge to get over the back injury, start walking. So the next challenge is how do I write a book? And I bought a book called How to Write a Book. Excuse me, and um, I had all of those outlines that I was going to record.
Hmm.
And I said, well, that's the outline of my book. So I did the work without knowing it was going to turn into a book. So I took that outline and
Hmm.
I wrote my first book, Walking for Health and Fitness.
Okay.
Um, the book has been out there for a few years now. It's often in the walking, on Amazon's walking lists. They
Okay.
have a main list, and I'm on that list all the time. But their digital copies, I'm always around the top 10. I've been a bestseller. That book has been a bestseller on that list. So
Congratulations.
that's been a great, for me personally, very satisfying that
Hmm.
enough people have purchased that book and have gotten something out of it. There's in University of Indiana, a professor reached out to me, and she uses that book as like the guide for her class. So
Mhm.
every few months I get a bump in sales. I guess she teaches the class again, and the students buy the book. But that was a lot of fun. And the cool thing about writing that book, so I told you I wrote it. I bought a book about how to write a book,
Right.
wrote the book. In that book, it said, be careful when you do this because it becomes addicting
Okay.
to get your ideas across. And you mentioned in your intro that you started not only the treadmill, which is an awesome way to work out, but you mentioned weights. And
Yes.
what I was doing at the time was walking, and I was doing body weight exercises
Mhm.
just to bump up my fitness, push-ups, squats, lunges, and then I'd hold a plank position
Okay.
on the sidewalk. So after I put the first book out, which I had no idea, I just put it out there. I didn't know how to market it. I didn't know how to do anything. I thought, well, what's the next thing I could do? And I'm doing these body weight exercises. So that became book number two,
Okay.
fitness walking and body weight exercises.
Okay.
And so this journey from just getting fit, getting myself back out of pain has turned into something that's been really creative on my end from writing books because I've written other books beyond those. So
Okay.
the great thing about walking, and I think you find this too, is the mindset.
Mhm.
And when I'm on my walks, I come up with so many ideas. I have a notes app on my iPhone that is just jam packed with the ideas that I have. Now the crazy thing is sometimes I'll have a great idea on the walk and I'll write it in my notes app.
Okay.
I'd get home, I'd sit at my home computer, and I'm like, what was that idea I had? Because once I sat down, it's like every creative thought just went out the window, and I have to look back at the note. So I'm a much better thinker when I'm walking.
Oh, that is so beautiful. So, how many books have you authored?
So right now I've authored 5 books. So there's
Okay.
the second book was fitness, walking, body weight exercises. The third one was walking inspiration. So here was my idea. My marketing idea was to just write a quote book, put it on
Mhm.
Amazon for like 99 cents, right? Just to get it out there. And I put the quote book together, and I thought I personally wouldn't spend 99 cents for this quote book.
Okay.
That's just how I felt. I felt it wasn't enough.
Okay.
So what I did is I broke that book down into monthly chapters.
Mhm.
So the first month, right? So January starts January. There's the 30 days, September, April, June, November. So January is 31 days. Um, there's 31 quotes. But
Okay.
the topic of January is finding your why.
Okay.
And so I do a page about that, about things to do to find what's your purpose?
Okay.
Whether it's losing weight, your purpose was to lose weight, and there had to be an underlying reason for that.
Yes.
Without that underlying reason, our motivation is not really, we might be motivated a day or two, but we need that greater purpose to keep us going.
Right.
So this quote book turned into a 12-month fitness plan of January, finding your why. February was setting a goal, because if we don't
Okay.
have something we're shooting for, we kind of get lost in the weeds of, jumping to the next shiny object. And every month took a different topic. I worked the quotes in that month around that topic. And
Okay.
that book's been out there for a few years now. And then I went back to my idea of an easy book, in a sense of I wanted to just do a logbook,
Okay.
and just grids and time, distance, some thoughts. And same thing, I put it together. I put the first page of the grids together. I'm like, okay, there are books out there like this.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be more than that. So I have a logbook, walking logbook journal, and it's each week, it's a weekly journal, but there's a topic of the week, some walking inspiration, some fitness tips, some walking tips. And then there's areas to journal in the book. There's areas to keep your distance, your
Mhm.
time, how you felt, any
Okay.
great thoughts, any words of wisdom that you've come up with. So that became my fourth book. And then number 5, my latest that came out in the spring, is the Walking Works Blueprint. So much like you, I have a colleague who needed, um, he's mid-30s, 2 children, works not only teaching, he's a guidance counselor, but works crazy hours doing other jobs.
Okay.
And he came to me, he said, hey, I hear you're the walking guy. And he says, I need, what do I do? He says,
Okay.
I need to get fit. I need to start losing weight. I said, just walk. And a lot of what you did, just
Mhm.
start walking consistently.
Right.
tweak your diet a little bit, and you'll start to feel better. And when you feel better, then it's a cycle. It's an upward cycle in that, okay, I'm feeling better, so I'm going to eat better, and I'm eating better, so I have more energy, so I can walk a little bit more. So I'm walking more, so I'm not going to mess it up by messing up my diet, so I'll stay on track with the diet. So that's what Nelson started doing. And then one day, a few weeks later, he calls me into his guidance counselor office. He says, check this out. And he had a treadmill under his desk. So he was standing, he put a standing desk, he had his computer and a treadmill. So he started walking consistently. So I thought, all right. And I would give him ideas of try this, try that. And I'm like, this could be an idea for a program
Mhm.
and a book. So I decided to create a program called Walking Works because it
Okay.
does, right? That's the tagline, Walking Works because it does. And it takes someone, a beginner, through the first 14 days of, hey, let me get into it. So what do I do? Of course, just go out and walk. Okay, that's easy advice. Anyone could give that. Okay, what do I do on day 2? What do I
Mhm.
do on day 3, 4? And I just give a number of different walking workouts in a sense. So the first day is to just get out and do a walk.
Okay.
How far can you go? Not pushing yourself, but if you can make it to 3 blocks from your house,
Mhm.
okay? Because that first walk after my back injury, that's all I could do.
Okay.
If you can make it that far, okay, that's good. That's your baseline. You know you're set. You know what to do. The second walk would be a time test. How far can you walk? And it's just 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And it's documented that a 10-minute walk of what you could do in 10 minutes is a really good indicator of your health. And this is why anyone listening should just do this on their own, because if you check that out month after month, let's say once a month, you said, all right, I'm going to walk for 10 minutes. Here's my start point, my end point in 10 minutes. I'll remember that.
Mhm.
And then once a month, I'm going to do that same walk.
Right.
If you hit the mark, you know you're doing well. If you advance the mark, you know you're getting in better shape. If you
Right.
fall short of the mark, and I mean much short, you'll know something is going on in your
Mhm.
body that might not come out in tests. Maybe you've been feeling tired that day, or maybe that fatigue has been for a week or two. Um, I use this. This is crazy enough. Right now, I'm currently in treatment for prostate cancer. And what I started to find in the
Okay, wait a
springtime,
minute. You just
yes,
slipped that in there. You have
I slipped.
prostate cancer?
I was diagnosed in the late winter, early spring.
Oh, wow.
So what I noticed then is that I was feeling a little bit off. Um,
Oh,
so and walking was an indicator for that. And we did all the time. I'm doing well. Prognosis is really good. In fact, the radiation treatment ends. Let's see, next Thursday. So
okay. Well, I'm
I've gone
happy to
through the
hear that.
treatments. Yes, yeah, it's good. But knowing some basic numbers of, like, I knew where I could go to, I
Okay.
started feeling that fatigue. And
Okay.
during this treatment, there's a hormone treatment, and there's also the radiation that I'm going through. I've done the time test, and there are days where I've done it every 2 weeks where I hit the mark. There are days where I fall short of the mark because
Mhm.
it's been a draining
Mhm.
process
Right.
physically and emotionally also.
Oh,
But
wow.
the prognosis is everything looks good. I'm on an upward trajectory
You're
here.
still up, you're doing shows, you're talking to people, you're walking. That's incredible. In the last week, I found you're the third person that I heard of that has cancer. Two friends of mine, I
Mm,
just found out have cancer. There's too many people who are going through this experience right now.
mm. Yeah, my mom had cancer. She passed away from pancreatic cancer. My dad had prostate cancer
Oh, wow.
in his mid to late 50s. He's still with us. He's 85 years old. He just bought a new car. He's a very optimistic guy. Just bought a brand new car.
Is he
So
walking?
he that's the thing. I cannot get him to walk. He complains that his legs are hurt. It's a cycle. So he complains his legs are hurt, and then there are things where your veins can be restricted.
Yeah.
He was a heavy smoker his whole life.
Yes.
He had a few years ago. He had a heart attack. He was in a coma.
Oh,
He
wow. Oh,
survived
wow,
that.
Trey.
He survived that. He's amazing. And started the physical therapy that the hospital recommended, and he was
Okay.
feeling great. And then wintertime came, and he kind of let that slip, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of fell backwards in how he felt. I wish he'd walk more. I could encourage him every day, but
Mm-hmm.
you can only say so much.
Yes.
But he's healthy now. He's doing well, so
And he got
uh,
the new
good
car.
for him. And he has a new car. Very optimistic man he is.
No, that's wonderful. I love people who, you know, you try to older people and you try to take away whatever their habit is or whatever they enjoy.
Mm.
I always think of those little old people who sit with a glass of whiskey or maybe they have their cigar. I just like, okay, let these people enjoy their life and have fun. So I wish he was here. I might have to ask your father for a ride in this new car, like, let's go out, let's have some fun. Does it have a
he,
drop
he,
top?
he'd probably drive you to Atlantic City.
And I would go.
He likes his Atlantic. That's his happy place,
I would
the
go.
the casino. So yeah. So for myself, looking at that, mom with cancer, she had two types. She first had colon cancer, then pancreatic. My dad would prostate. So I'm like, I think it's in my cards here
Yes.
that
Yes.
better stay as healthy as I can. So I've never been a smoker.
Mhm.
Um, drink a moderate drinker.
Mhm.
And I've always stayed fit. My weight has always been within a certain range.
Okay.
I attribute that to the running, which was a big help at the time
Mhm.
that I was a runner, and then continuing with the walking after that. As a runner, I started this thing years ago where my idea was to run virtual run to Florida, and I'm a school teacher, as I told you, and I thought this would be a fun idea if I looked at my logbook and said, okay, this week I ran 20 miles. What if
Okay.
I put it on a map of New Jersey? Like I know where I was living at the time to my school was 23 miles. And then
Okay.
beyond that was Elizabeth, New Jersey. But what was beyond that? So I started keeping a log, and then I teach Photoshop. So I would Photoshop myself in pictures. And I would tell my students that I was running to my original goal was Key West, Florida.
Okay.
And so it became this big thing where I'd goof on them because they'd look at the maps. I tell them this whole backstory of, every weekend, that's what I do. I go to the last spot and I run from there. And it just kept going. But the thing was, it was something to keep me motivated to keep running.
Yes.
Talking about a goal, right? How important the goals were. So I made it to Key West, Florida, and then tracking my miles. It took a while. It was
Mhm.
1,350 miles. And I'm like,
Oh,
well, that was fun. And the fun part was putting my maps up because after New Jersey, I had a map of Pennsylvania to get Philadelphia in there. I followed Route 1 all the way down the coast. And then the next was Delaware, through Delaware, I believe, and then Maryland and all the way down North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. And I said, well, what if I go around the United States?
oh wow.
So it took 16 years, and half of it was running. The other half was after I started walking. But it's on my website, Walking for Health and Fitness. If you look at walking destinations, it's my circumnavigation of the United States. It was over 11,600 miles. And
Wow.
again, I only tracked the miles that I logged in the book.
Okay.
So my iPhone, tracks everything I do, whether I walk from
Right.
here into the kitchen and back. But I only specifically was for this journey was just what I put in a logbook when I specifically set an intention to, hey, I'm going to get out and walk 5 miles today. Okay, that counted towards the journey.
Wow. You are
Yes.
creative. I can tell
So
you that, if nothing else. You are definitely creative. These ideas, I mean, you must be an excellent teacher, keeping students motivated and keeping what subject do you teach?
I teach in the computer lab Photoshop, web page design, different basic applications classes.
Okay.
Yeah, I shared my journey with my students.
Mhm.
I have a lot of positive quotes around the classroom,
Mhm.
and I'm teaching at the high school level,
Yeah.
which I love because it's a junior senior high school. So as seventh and eighth and really ninth graders,
Mhm.
they're insane, and I mean that in the best way, but they're just bundles of energy. But as they get into like junior and senior year, they're looking ahead in their life, and those are the
Right.
kids I love to talk to because now we can talk big picture, real world of what you need to do to make a difference in the world.
Right. And part of that is web development, where I started years ago, which started me on this path, building my very first website back in the 90s. It changed my
Wow.
life, right? I love the aspect of being able to create whatever it is
Hmm.
that you want to create.
Hmm.
Whereas on in brick and mortar, you're limited by the space, you're limited
Hmm.
by the boundaries of the walls, the four walls that you have. So one of the things that I love about what you're saying and what you're teaching is it's not just the actual application, but you're teaching them to go beyond those walls and to create these ideas. The map, walking to Florida. I mean, not many teachers would have thought or inspired students the way that you do.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I think it's wonderful. And then you created your website and you travel around, you do speaking engagements about walking. Do you
Hmm.
feel, what are your thoughts on society in general as far as the food and the fitness? I mean, it's so hard at times. I know you really talk about walking, but I think diet is very important in conjunction with walking. And it's so easy to get fast food, it's so easy to get fried food, pick up something quick, but when you're looking for something healthy, it's much more difficult.
Yeah, that is difficult because it is so easy. You drive
Mm,
down the highway, there's, five fast food places. You're feeling
right.
hungry, hey, let me stop in for a burger. Um, the crazy thing with my treatment and the traveling I do, it's been a struggle to eat healthy.
Okay.
And what I've always done is I'm really basic. I like to cook my own. I eat a lot of junk food as far as I like my sweets. I like cookies. Oh my gosh. So I have to try to, and ice cream. So I have to try to limit all of that. But
Yes.
in my normal eating habits, I like to prepare my own food. And I think if people do that, prepare
Mhm.
their own meals, it becomes easier to eat healthy. So what I
Okay.
mean by that is, so I like quinoa, right?
Okay.
Could cook up 2 cups of quinoa. It'll last a few days, a few meals, and you could throw anything in that. But the basic, and it only takes like 25 minutes to do, right?
Okay.
Then the basic, once you have that, you can add pesto to it. Heat it up
I
in the
love
microwave,
that.
okay? Or make a jar of marinara sauce, or make your own marinara sauce. That's what I like to do, okay?
Okay.
And when I have my food prepared like that, where it's
Mhm.
so easy, "Oh, I'm hungry right now. Oh, I could just pop this, open this up, heat it up, and it's a good meal. I'll cut up some cooked shrimp into it, or
Oh, that
um,
sounds healthy.
not so healthy but really delicious is chunks of bacon, which is really good. But I don't know how healthy that is, but it tastes great. The quinoa, the healthy of the quinoa offsets that. That's how I view it. But so having meals prepared, I love a carrot soup that I make. And again, it's same thing. Just put it in a bowl, nuke it, and it's something healthy rather than, let me go get the big, the sub sandwich down at the deli. So
Yes.
when I prepare my own foods, and I mean those are the simple stuff that I make, but I find it a lot easier. The crazy thing is the supermarket has so many healthy choices if we just look for them. But
Right.
it's so easy to just pick up that bag of chips, and I'm as guilty as anyone else. So that's why I walk a little bit extra to make up for my not great diet habits.
Well, I think walk a little bit extra. That's wonderful advice. My problem is that I love sweets. I love to eat fast food, but and then I get bored easily. You know what I mean? So I'll change my diet. I eat healthier. But the one thing that I've stuck to, especially over the last few months, is water. Drinking plenty of water. I cut out the juices, the sweet
Mhm.
juices, because so many people don't realize how much sugar is in actual juices that are on the stores. In the stores, and then soda. I love a good Dr. Pepper. Like that was my
Mm.
thing. But now it's a lot of water. I drink a lot of water.
Okay, that's great. I was fortunate. I was never a big soda drinker.
Okay.
Um, my vice is coffee. I love coffee, but the
Okay.
soda I just was too sweet. I I I I've had 2 cups of soda probably in the last 3 years, And
Okay.
both of them, the first time I had started about 3.5 years ago, I started dating a woman, and we took a day trip, and we were hungry. There's a pizzeria, and I sat down. I said, Peg, I haven't had soda in so long, so I'm gonna whenever I have pizza, I do like a soda. So I had a bottle of Coke,
Okay.
and I had agita the rest of the day. I felt awful.
Oh, no.
So it was
After I drink it again, I feel awful.
yeah. So then it was probably 2 years later, and same situation. We were at a pizza place. I'm like, well, I'm having pizza, Peg. I'm going to have another soda, and yeah, same thing. So this, the soda. Luckily, I'm not. Take away my coffee, and we'll have trouble. But, uh, but yeah, sodas and juices. But like as you mentioned, water it's the best thing. It's the best thing
Yes.
for you.
Yes. We have to clean our minds, clean our systems, make ourselves healthy. So I'm just been shuffling while I talk to you, tune into
Sure.
your energy, Frank. That wasn't, I'm just sharing.
Oh, okay. You do. Okay. I was waiting for the. I thought you were shuffling through papers to come up with a question.
No, I'm shuffling the cards. You mentioned you didn't know what was in the cards, and I usually say more. I don't know why I stopped. I always tell people that when we talk and when I learn about people, I always
Right.
start with shuffling the cards. For
Okay.
me, shuffling the cards is first is my science of spirit that I'm gonna do a reading because we got to
Okay.
see what's going on with Frank. What does Frank need to know? Is that the question that's on the table?
Sure. Sure. What do I need to know? What does my future hold? I have an idea of it, and it's pretty damn good. But
Okay.
what's in my cards? I'd love to know.
Okay. So you want to know what the future holds?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now before we do the
Okay.
reading.
Yes.
There is no future.
There is. Okay.
Okay. The future is made by what we do today. The fact
Okay.
that you see it as very good right now means
Mm,
that your future is going to be amazing. It's
okay.
amazing. It's wonderful. That's what I see.
Okay. Well,
That's what I'm
that's
going to create.
good. Well, that's what I'm working on creating.
Right. We focus on the present. That's what I always tell people and why I love doing them live. I'm teasing you, Frank.
No, no. Focusing on the present. Let me ask you this: how do I stay focused in the present? Because a lot of times I'm in the future mode or past mode, and I kind of gloss over the present. How do I stay in the present?
You change your mindset because the beautiful thing about you
Hmm.
is that you're very self-aware, right? So you know that you stay in the future and you stay in the past, so you make a conscious decision to stay in the present. So when I do readings, it's like a GPS, right?
Yeah.
The GPS is going to tell you if you, and Frank, you can do the math and do the numbers. It'll tell you if I start walking today, how long it's going to take me to get to Florida, right? That's the future. The goal is the future, but where I am is the present.
Hmm.
So when I do a reading, it tells me if I stay on this current path, Frank stays on this current path, this is where he will wind up, right? But we have free will. You could decide you no longer want to go to Florida. You could get a phone call that says, hey, let's go to New York. And then you wind up in New York. So I always just allow for the possibility that the future is so bright that it's better than I could even imagine,
Mm.
right? So I create plans, I create goals, but the future is not written.
Okay.
It's only a possibility, and it
Okay.
can be a probability, but it's not something that's written in stone.
Right. Right. Okay. So how is this reading going to go?
How is it going? I'm gonna pull some
Yeah,
cards for you,
you're going to
Frank.
pull some cards, and you're going to tell me you're going to read my future, or
I lost.
you're going to read my present.
There you go, Frank. I
Okay.
lost you already.
Yeah.
The future is written by what
But what
we
we
do
do right
today.
now, yes.
But then they say, he who what is it? He who fails to plan plans to fail.
Right, exactly.
And that's what I do in the present. I
Okay.
plan. But there's also something that say, how do you make God laugh? It's you tell him
Oh,
your plans.
yeah, yes.
He's like, you thought that's what you were going to do, Frank. You thought you was about to go to Florida. You thought, you thought, you thought. That's funny. I'm just messing with you, Frank.
I know you
You
are,
know,
Sharifa. Thank
you,
you.
you know why? Because it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Frank that got me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that means I gotta focus.
Well, by 7 o'clock this morning, I finished my treatment. So that's what I was doing at 7.
That is beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
stop teasing you, Frank. I love reading for people. That's why I do this show so we can demystify what the cards say. But the first card that we select is always your issue. And your issue is the main theme that's running through your life in the present, currently,
Okay.
right now, right? And that card for you is judgment,
Okay.
right? Judgment. So, judgment is what they call a major arcana card. Major arcana cards are major shifts, major life lessons. Arcana means change, right? So you have major changes in your life, and then you have minor changes in your life. Major changes, major arcana are things that change the course of history. These are your weddings, these are your divorces, these are your deaths, these are your births. Major. Minor arcana cards are minor changes. These are things that affect you today, right now, not tomorrow. Okay. So, judgment being your main issue is all the lessons that you have learned, everything that you've learned in the past. What do you do with those lessons? How do those lessons show up in your life? Right. So that's the ability for everything to say, okay, well, you know what? Frank has done well in his life. Let's continue to bless him. Frank has not utilized the gifts that we given him. Okay, Frank is not, you know, everything is positive in my mind, but judgment is about the result. It's the reap what you sow card, right?
Okay.
And so knowing Frank and all the hard work that he's done, you're about to again reap some beautiful blessings. That's what
Okay.
I see.
Great.
That's what
Thank
that
you.
card says, right? But it's the reap what you sow card. The next card that you have is the Hierophant. The
Okay.
Hierophant itself is a major arcana card, major lessons that you're learning. And so, what the Hierophant teaches us is our truths. What is true to us, not necessarily what is true to our parents, what is true to our coworkers, what is true to the girlfriend, whoever. It's what is true for you. What are your beliefs? What is it that you believe in, right? And this always appears when people are going through um, a mindset where usually they're going out in a new direction, right? They're changing direction, they're doing something new. And then they kind of ask themselves, okay, well, for instance, all my life I was a Catholic. That not me, I wasn't, but I'm just saying that's what they asked themselves, right? So that gives them certain beliefs. But now maybe they want to be Buddhist, right? So they have to find what they believe in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes.
Right. So let me tie that into you, Frank. It just means that whatever, because I feel is that you want to do something new, that you want to take what you've already done and go into a new direction. So you've done 5 books and you have 20 books in you if that's what you decided to do. But books for you can be kind of, I don't want to be offensive in the word cookie cutter, but it
Right.
means like, I can do this. I know I can do this. But how
Right.
do I take this and create something else or create something new or create something different or create something better, right? But it comes down to you really deciding that's what you want to do, what you believe in, the new direction that you want to go in, which may not be standard or typical. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
That makes sense, and I'm shaking my head because there is there is a direction that I'm contemplating going into. So that you're putting this together with just 2 cards is interesting.
Okay.
Very, very interesting in a good way.
Okay. So the next card that you have is the Hermit.
Uh-oh.
Okay. The Hermit is a major arcana. And Frank, we have pulled three cards, and
Uh,
you have
major.
three major arcana cards, which
Right.
is three major shifts. Like these are major lessons. Tarot is called the fool's journey. The
Mhm.
reason it's called the fool's journey is there's an expression that God protects fools and infants. And the reason God protects fools and infants is because those are the only two people that don't think they know everything. They're very
Mm.
open, right?
Right.
So whenever I see a lot of major arcana cards, I
Mhm.
always go, okay, hold on to your seat. Hold on. Like there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of shifts, there's a lot of lessons. So the hermit is the wise person. You become this is one of the things you become after going through this judgment and finding out what you believe. Is hermit is akin to going to the mountain or going to the desert and just really thinking and finding out what you believe. The hermit is the old wise person, but the
Mm.
old wise person leads the way. He guides others. He shows people the light. He shows people the path. He says, "This is the way to go. This is not only the way I go. This is the way we go."
Mm.
Okay. And that's really good, especially for somebody who's like a patriarch. It's because you're not making decisions for just you. You're making decisions for other people.
Mm.
Okay. And the next card that you have is the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is a minor arcana card, but I always say this on the show is one of my favorite cards. Favorite cards. I love it because it wands are movement, wands are action, right? But the beautiful thing about the eight wands is the eight wands are already in the air. They're being shot in the air. So there's nothing that you have to do besides receive them. You don't have to go out.
Mm.
You don't have to try to make it happen. You don't try to figure it out. You don't have to think about it. This is about it's already on its way to you. And it's want meaning career, which means that new opportunities for career, new opportunities for business are opening up, right? And the you know everything in life has a positive or negative, right? A tool, hammer is a tool. If you get a
Right.
hammer, you can get a hammer, you can build a house with it. You could also get a hammer and do harm with it
Mm.
if you so choose,
Right.
right? So everything is like that. So the Eight of Wands is beautiful. The only slight um consideration in the Eight of Wands is discernment, right? Just because a new opportunities comes your way or something is open to you, it doesn't mean that you have to take it. It just means that this opportunity comes your way, right? And you have to be the wise person to say, you know what, that's not for me.
Mm.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. So the next card you have is the Five of Cups. Five of Cups. So his head is down. He has some lost emotions. So there is some sadness here. So there is some feeling of, what you're going through. And you are, you keep on a happy face and a smile, but you going through treatments. You're going through different things. So what the Five of Cups talks about is there is some sorrow there. However, what's behind him is two cups, right? And those two cups are full. So even if there are three cups that were lost,
Mm.
something that was lost, there's still hope. There's still renewal. There's still life. There's still
Mm.
plenty of life to lead, to be happy. All you got to do is not you, Frank, but even though
Mm.
this is your
Okay.
reading, but anybody has to
Yeah.
do is pick their head up and see the good, see the blessings, see the positive in whatever
Mm.
their situation is. Okay.
Absolutely.
So the next one you have is the Seven of Cups.
Okay.
Seven of Cups. So in this Seven of Cups, and I know it's hard to see, first of all, the beautiful thing is that each cup is upright. There
Mhm.
aren't any spilled cups. Everything is full, but in each cup it holds different things. Like one holds a snake, and one holds, um, you know, it's just being offered different things. So that to me again is the second message that says discernment. Discernment.
Okay.
The Eight of Wands to me, and that's what I'm hearing clearly, is discernment. Like discern, choose, choose, what you want. You don't have to take everything that's presented to you. Even in love, you don't have to take anything and everything that's presented to you. You are the wise one. You are in control. You have to decide what works best for you.
Mm.
Okay. So then the next one you have, ooh, I like this for you. The magician. The magician. The
Okay.
magician is a major arcana card, but that card is my Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz card, right?
Okay.
And so the reason it's Dorothy and Wizard of Oz is because I'm pretty sure you saw at least one version of the Wizard of Oz, Frank.
Hmm.
And what the whole moral of the Wizard of Oz, or in the movie, is she goes all around the mulberry bush to get right back to figure out that she had the power all along, that all she
Mm.
had to do was click her little red heels together and then she could go home, which is her one desire.
Right.
So the magician card on the Fool's Journey, and that's another major arcana card, is card one. So it starts with the fool at zero, and then it starts with the magician at one, right? And so life, the fool's journey, is the journey of life. In life, we go through different lessons and different cycles, and we learn different things. We learn that as we get older. But being card one, it's the first lesson that the fool learns. And so in his backpack, he has all the tools he needs to be successful. The only problem, or the only challenge is he doesn't know he already has on the little red slippers. He
Mm.
doesn't know he has them on. He doesn't know that they're the power. He doesn't know what to do with them. Right. So whenever I see the magician, that's a really, really great sign for me. But it's also for a note to say, use your power, use your tools, use your gifts, use your abilities in whatever direction or whatever comes to you. You have the ability to do it, and it's all inside of you. Again, the hermit talks about it being inside of you,
Mm.
taking that time to meditate, taking that time to walk, which most people won't acknowledge. Walking is meditation. What you're
Right.
doing is meditation, clearing your mind, getting those ideas. They just come to you, and you write them down, and then if not, they're gone, right? So you know what to do. It's just about doing it, because the next card that you have is the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is about, it can be different disagreements, right? And so minor arcana cards go from 0 to 10. I always think about it like that customer service survey. We all get them, and it says, how do
Mm.
you like our customer service on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is always the best. One is like, so 10 is completion. So
Mm.
five is always the halfway point. It's all, and you got two fives. It's always the halfway point. It's the point where most people, but not Frank, give up,
Mm.
where they like, you know what? I don't want to do this, because it may not be the easiest thing. It may be challenging, right? But if you give it another push, if you keep going, you will be successful. You will be able to make it happen, because the next card that you have is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, back in the days, and a lot of the cards come from the days of kings and queens, just
Mhm.
stories, just allegories, just pretty pictures that they paint. But back in the days before we had cell phones, the king, he had one job. You know what his job was, Frank?
His job was to take care of his kingdom, or to take care of his power.
Yes. Everybody says the same thing. And I always joke. I'm like, because his job was to sit on the throne. While he was doing all of that, he sat on the throne. So he didn't get up to go get a horse or a sandwich or to meet the people.
Mm.
None of that. He just sat on the throne. So he had a page. The page's job was to deliver messages from the king. So whenever pages show up, it means that you will receive a message. And
Mm.
swords are information or knowledge. So what this says to me is that in this new venture, this new destination that you want to go in, you will receive information. That there's more information that you need in order to discern and decide which way you want to go. Because from what I see right now, you haven't decided to completely go in that direction. You kind of thinking about it, you kind of weighing it, but you're like, okay, well, maybe you need more information, and that information will come to you. So what I did was 10 cards. The first card, like I said, is your theme, your major issue that you're going through. And then we looked around. It's like a sandwich, you know,
Mm,
I'm giving you both ends. So the final card, which is the 10th card, is the final outcome. That's the one that's closest to the future, because it
mm,
basically says if you stay on your current path, at the end of the day, what does Frank need to know? And that is the star.
okay.
And the star is very, 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 very beautiful. It's a major arcana card, a major shift, and it literally says wish upon a star. Go
Mm,
back to little Frank, who dreamed big and he didn't dream small, and he said this is what I really want to do. And dream, wish, see it in your mind's eye, bring it to life, because you have the full possibility, the full potential to create whatever it is that you want to create. So my question was, what does Frank need to know? Your question was, what does the future hold? And the answer to your question is whatever you wish.
mm.
You are the magician. You have the tools to create whatever it is that you want. Just use discernment. Does that make sense?
That is, it's spot on of is what I have approaching, what I see in my future. Yeah, and the
Okay.
discernment part is the big thing because, like I have many opportunities, and sometimes I tend to grab like try too many different things, but I'm
Mm.
narrowing it down, and I'm currently waiting for information about which way to go. So no, that was really wow, very very interesting information.
Do you have
Good reading.
questions?
Do I have no? I don't have questions. Just that was really interesting how that tied together
Mhm.
with what is coming up for me and what what I have. You talked about, I guess it was the ninth card, about what I see for myself. I guess in that sense,
Which one?
oh, you said dream big.
Yes.
Yes, one of my quotes when a student graduates, and I signed a yearbook, I always put "think and dream big." So
Yes.
that's interesting that you use that phrase.
Dream
Uh,
big.
yeah, so that's actually where I am right now. So looking ahead
Yes.
in my future. So now I that was great.
Well, thank you. I
That was awesome.
appreciate it. Now, Frank, we are coming down to the last few seconds of the show. And what
Hmm.
I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today.
Well, the one thing I would take away, or what ask you to take away, is to take care of your health. Your physical fitness is it's vital to a future. If you're not physically fit, um, think about when you get older, how difficult it is to get around. I spoke about my dad. Yeah, he bought a new car, but the idea of him like going to his grandson's football games, he has to plan out where he's going to park. He's got to park as close as he can to the seating. If there's a golf cart in the area that some of the high schools provide, he's got to track down the guy to do that. Think about how big supermarkets are. You need to go food shopping. These markets are huge. So you need to stay in shape starting from where you are right now. And if you don't know what to do, just like I said, go out for a walk, get yourself physically fit. The fitter you are at a younger age, the fitter you'll stay, and your future will give you a lot more freedom, a lot more physical freedom to be able to live a really healthy and happy life. So that's what I'd like you to take away. My website is walkingforhealthandfitness.com. From there are so many blog posts that I've put up about fitness. There are my YouTube videos on there, my podcast, my books, my programs. But just start today. Go out for a walk right after you listen to this podcast, or maybe replay the podcast on that walk. But start from where you are. Start today, and a week from now you'll feel better. 2 weeks from now you'll feel even better. 2 years from now you'll look back at starting today and saying, "Thank God I started because I feel great."
That is so wonderful and wonderful advice. I want to thank you for being today's guest on Read Me Live, Frank. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely learned a lot. We'll have to check out more of your website. I want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch the show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. We definitely appreciate your support. And if you want to be right there where Frank is and have your own reading, visit my website at readmelive.com. Until next time, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.